Welcome back. So we have spent in the last few videos looking at cells, their structure, how they specialize, how things move in and out of cell. Today we are zooming out a little and asking a bigger question. What are cells actually made of, like at the molecular level? What are the actual chemical building blocks of life? Today we introduce the big four biomolecules: carbohydrates, proteins, lipids and nucleic acids. Today is about understanding what each one is, what it does, and why it matters. Let's go. Biomolecules are exactly that they sound like biological molecules, the chemicals that make up living things. And here is the key thing: they are all organic molecules, meaning they are all built around carbon. Carbon is backbone of life, and all four of our biomolecules follow a very important pattern. They They are all made of smaller units called monomers, which join together to form larger chains called polymers. Think of a monomer like a single bed and a polymer like a necklace made of hundreds of those beds. Simple idea, massive consequences. The four biomolecules are carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids, and each one has a very different job. First, carbohydrates. Most people think of carbs as food: bread, pasta, rice. And yes, their main job is energy. They are your body's first and fastest source of fuel. Your brain is particular runs almost entirely on glucose, which is carbohydrate. They are made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And their monomer, the single building block, is called a monosaccharide. Glucose is the most famous one. Join monosaccharides together and you get bigger carbohydrates like starch, which plants use to store energy, and or glycogen, which animals use to store energy in the liver and muscles. And here is something interesting. Cellulose, the stuff that makes plant cells wall rigid, is also a carbohydrate. Same monomers as glucose, completely different structure and function. We will get deep into that in the next video. Second, proteins. And honestly, proteins are my favorite biomolecules because they do everything: building and repairing tissue, speeding up chemical reactions, defending against diseases, transporting oxygen, sending signals. All proteins. They are made of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, and sometimes sulfur. Their monomer is called an amino acid, and there are 20 different types. The sequence of amino acid determines how the protein folds, and the shape of protein determines its function completely. Change the shape, you change what it does or break it entirely. Hemoglobin carries oxygen, enzymes speed up reactions, antibodies take pathogens for destruction, collagen holds your skin and bones. All proteins. Different sequences, different shapes, different jobs. One monomer type, infinite possibilities. Third, lipids. Fats, oil, waxes, all lipids. Their main jobs are energy storage, making cell membranes, and insulation. They are made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Same elements as carbohydrates actually, but in very different proportion and arrangements. Lipids are not true polymers in the traditional sense, but they are built from glycerol and fatty acids joined together. And their defining property, they are insoluble in water. They repel water, and that is exactly what makes the cell membrane possible. Remember the phospholipid bilayer we covered earlier? That's a lipid. Lipids also store more energy per gram than carbohydrates, about twice as much, which is why the body uses them for long-term fuel storage. And steroids like testosterone and estrogen are also lipids, so they play a massive role in hormone signaling too. And finally, nucleic acids, DNA and RNA. These are the information molecules of life. Their job is to store and transmit genetic information, the instructions for building and running every living thing. They are made of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus. Their monomer is called a nucleotide, and each nucleotide contains a sugar, phosphate group, and a base. DNA stores the master blueprint, locked in the nucleus, passed from parent to child. RNA reads that blueprint and carries the message to the ribosomes where proteins are built. And here is a number that still amazes you every time I say it. Your DNA contains around 3 billion base pairs, and if you stretch out the DNA from just one of your cells, it would be about 2 meters long. Imagine, you have 37 trillion cells. The total length of all your DNA laid end to end would reach the sun and back multiple times. So, big four carbohydrates, they are made of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Their monomers monosaccharides, and their main job is energy and structure. Proteins are made of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. Their monomers are amino acids and do almost everything. Lipids, made of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, built from glycerol and fatty acid, and their main role is energy storage, making membranes and hormones. Nucleic acids, they are made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Their monomer is nucleotides. They store and transmit genetic information for molecules, the entire chemistry of life. And this for today. This was intentionally broad. We touched each one but did not go deep because each of these biomolecules deserves its own video, and that's exactly what is coming. Starting next time, carbohydrates. Their monomers, polymers, monosaccharides, disaccharides, polysaccharides, starch, glucose, glycogen. It's a fascinating topic, yeah? So subscribe if you do not miss it, drop a like if it's helped, and I will see you in the next video.